Good morning guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you two perfumes that I have blind purchased. One of them is a brand new designer release, which is the Le Parfum from Black Opium, and the other one is a perfume from Jo Malone, which is the Rose Water and Vanilla. And I'm really excited to share my thoughts on these two perfumes with you, so you can either skip ahead to the perfume that is applicable to you, or you can watch the entire video if you like. If this is your first time on my channel, hello, my name's Alithia. Thank you so much for stopping by. On this channel we do talk a lot about perfume. If that's something that you like, I would love if you'd consider subscribing. And if you have tried either of these perfumes, please let me know down below what your thoughts were on both of them, and also let me know if there's any other perfumes that you would really like me to review. And with that out of the way, let's get started in today's video. Alright guys, so welcome back. We are in my bedroom today, a little bit of a different setting, and I'm going to be reviewing two perfumes for you today. So you can either skip ahead to the perfume that you want to hear about, or you can watch the video in its entirety. These are two perfumes that I recently got. I'm going to be doing a huge haul. I'm going to be doing like a huge collective haul and share with you guys the best and the worst, the winners and the losers. However, one perfume from today's haul will probably not be staying. So yeah, I'm just drinking some coffee here, you guys. I'm really happy to say that my sense of smell has come back pretty much 100%. It feels like it's just about 100%. So I feel like I'm getting a really good interpretation of all of the perfumes, and all of my own perfumes are smelling just the way that they pretty much always have. Like there might be, maybe it's like the volume is turned down 5% maybe, but honestly I think my sense of smell is pretty much back where it was before. And I also want to show you guys my nails. I just have this beautiful like milky pink color, and I do my own gel nails. If you guys haven't seen the video on how I do my own gel nails and the products that I use, make sure that you do check that one out. So the candle that I'm burning was actually gifted to me from my sister-in-law, and it says Lasting Smiles. I guess it's from the company Lasting Smiles Aromatherapy, and it's called Sea Salt and Citrus. And I just have it turned around because I'm not a fan of labeling, and I especially don't like orange. Orange is one of my least favorite colors. And I just want to show you guys this perfume tray as well. I'll take the perfumes off of it for a moment. So this perfume tray was from Amazon, and I really recommend it. I'm planning to do a monthly perfume tray or rotation type of video. I thought this would be really beautiful for displaying perfumes, as well as for doing like a monthly perfume tray rotation or rotation tray video. So I got it from Amazon. It was about 39 Canadian dollars. So for you guys in the States, it'd probably be about $29, and really beautiful. It has like these really nice little crystals, and then it has like this glass, these little glass ridges. And within the glass, there's actually little tiny crystals, and they're movable, they're mobile. So very like lots of facets and lots of shimmer, and really pretty. And it just is stunning with perfumes on it. So I quite like it. And it's about a, I think it's about a 10-inch tray, so, or an 11-inch, so it would comfortably hold roughly about 10 or 11 perfumes, and I just really like it. It's also very lightweight, has like a mirror top on it, so I do really like this tray, and I would recommend it if you're looking for a beautiful perfume tray. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get started in today's perfume reviews. Alright you guys, so let's start out with Jo Malone's Rose Water and Vanilla. So this was a blind buy. I should have probably known better than to blind buy this one. Not that it's a bad perfume, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to talk to you about what it smells like, all of the different facets about it. It's just that I do have a hard time with one of the notes that's in here, but that definitely doesn't mean that you guys will. I think that this would be a very beloved perfume, and I think it's a beautiful perfume, and I do recommend it. And I kind of just was intrigued by the packaging. I also think that this is a perfume that perhaps was either discontinued or like taken away or off the market for a while, and I think it's back for a limited time is how I understood it. And I just thought that the packaging was absolutely beautiful, and I really wanted to try it out. So this is Rose Water and Vanilla. The packaging that you will see on Fragrantica is a little different. I think this is like a limited edition packaging, so it has this really pretty like pink paper label, and it says Jo Malone Rose Water and Vanilla Cologne, and then of course it's just a clear bottle otherwise. And the notes that you have in here are neroli, petitgrain, liquum, I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. So I'm not sure what liquum is. I haven't heard of that note before, but when you click on it, it basically just says that it is a sweet gourmand scent. So on the Fragrantica website, it looks like a pink sugar cube is what the liquum looks like. So this is what the beautiful bottle looks like without the cap. Okay, so there's a few perfumes that this reminds me of right off the hop. One of the perfumes is Sundazed from Byredo. There is no citruses listed in this perfume, but if you told me that there was orange or lemon or like orange zest or lemon zest or something like that, I would believe you, because there definitely is like a citrusy kind of an opening to it. I would say that Sundazed is more of a citrusy cotton candy. This is more of that sweet vanilla orange blossom neroli type of perfume. So this one also really reminds me of Oriana from Parfum de Marly, except Oriana is more berries and whipped cream. This one doesn't have that berry whipped cream component, but it does have that sweet orange blossom, neroli, vanilla, sugary type of component. Another perfume that this reminds me of is Kilian Love Don't Be Shy. It also reminds me of Nobile, is it 1942 Perdizione? So any of those sort of sweet orange blossom, neroli, like vanilla, sugar, caramel kind of perfumes, that's what this reminds me of. It also reminds me quite a bit of Love Don't Be Shy Extreme. Love Don't Be Shy Extreme is again that kind of sweet orange blossom, neroli, sugar, caramel, vanilla, but it has a heavy dose of rose, which this one also has. Love Don't Be Shy Extreme was like the rosier version of Love Don't Be Shy. So how this is different from those perfumes, this one is a little bit more simple and less complex. There's definitely a lot less going on in this perfume. You do get the vanilla, you definitely get the neroli. Like I said, I get a little bit of almost like a citrusy component. Maybe it's coming from the neroli and the petitgrain mixed together, I don't know. But if you told me that there was orange or citrus in here, I would believe you, just in the opening. So when I first sprayed this, you guys, I was a little bit disappointed, and I should have known better because I know that I have a hard time with neroli. You guys know that as well if you watch my channel. It's not that it's a bad scent, it's an absolutely beautiful scent. If you like Love Don't Be Shy, if you like Byredo Sundazed, if you like Parfum de Marly Oriana, if you like Perdizione, if you like those perfumes, you will like this one. I have worn this one, I have tested it out. So upon first spray, very, very similar to Perdizione, Love Don't Be Shy, those kind of perfumes, without the milky, creamy depth. There isn't anything of that. This is a little bit lighter, a little softer, a little fresher. So on first spray, it is quite fresh. It's a very fresh, sweet, sugary neroli, and then it does start to settle down, and after it has dried down, you are getting more of that rose and that vanilla. So that is the part of this perfume that I personally like the most, is that rose vanilla dry down. If you've ever smelled the rose vanilla candle from Bath & Body Works, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a simple, like watery, aquatic rose and vanilla scent after it has dried down, but you do have that sweet, sugary neroli sort of lingering around in the background. I asked my boyfriend what he thought about this, and he thought that it was fresh and sexy, but he didn't go crazy for it or anything the way that he goes crazy for something like Versace Crystal Noir or something like that. So after it's dried down, you get this beautiful soft vanilla rose that's just sort of kissed a little bit by neroli, sort of lingering around in the background. Longevity on this is actually really good, you guys, really good. I think this is I thought this was an intense, but it doesn't say that. But the longevity on this is quite good. A couple of sprays of this lasted on my arm for hours and hours and hours. It wasn't a huge projector. It's not a huge beast. It's not going to fill the room. But I did get lovely little wafts coming off of my skin as I walked outside in like the cool, crisp air. It was really nice. I also think this would be a beautiful perfume for the summer, spring, summer. Sort of like a lighter, fresher, less dense, less gourmand version of like Love Don't Be Shy, something like that. So it is a really nice perfume. The performance is okay. It's definitely longer lasting than a lot of other Jo Malones that I've smelled. I have other you know, designer scents that disappear much quicker than this one. So the performance on this one is not bad. I'm actually really glad that I didn't smell this in a store that I couldn't return to, or smell this on vacation or something, because this is an example of one of those perfumes that is so beautiful that I probably would have fallen in love with it and purchased it, and that would have ended up being like my vacation scent or something like that. And I would have realized very quickly after getting it home that it wasn't going to work for me. So I'm really glad that I tested this out in the comfort of my own home. Really wish I would have just had a tester. I kind of should have known better, you guys, because I don't like neroli. I have a hard time with neroli perfumes. That's the only thing about this perfume that bothers me. I love how it smells. I think it's very beautiful, just the same way that I liked how Love Don't Be Shy smells, but I personally have a really hard time with neroli, and I should learn my lesson and just never ever blind buy another neroli perfume, because I know better. I mean, one day my taste could change. You know how when you look at reviews on Fragrantica and people say, oh, this perfume smells just like this or this or this, and then you smell the perfume yourself and you think, it actually doesn't smell that much like those perfumes. So sometimes perceptions and reviews and people's opinions are a little different than your own, and you always have your own take on a perfume. Perfume is very subjective. So I thought this was worth trying out, even though a lot of people compared it to Love Don't Be Shy. And I don't know if anybody mentioned Sundazed, but Sundazed from Byredo was definitely one of the first that jumped into my head when I smelled this perfume. So you guys, I don't think that this perfume is going to work out for me. In fact, I know it isn't. It is a beautiful perfume. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I definitely recommend checking it out if you like Love Don't Be Shy, Oriana, Sundazed from Byredo. If you like those rosy vanilla perfumes, but you do have to like a sweet sugary scent, and you do have to like neroli. If you like all of those factors, you will probably really, really like this perfume. It's stunning. The performance is okay, not mind-blowing, but it's okay. Nothing that I would dock marks for. Like I said, I've had perfumes that definitely were much, much weaker than this one. It's a really nice perfume. I think it's pretty mass pleasing as long as you like Love Don't Be Shy and you have to like neroli. That is the key. So that's something for myself that I know I'm just not a fan of neroli. I have a really hard time wearing it. So for that reason, this perfume doesn't work out for me. It is an absolutely stunning perfume, and if you were wondering about it, I do think that it's worth checking out. Okay, you guys, so next up is the new release from Black Opium. This is Black Opium Le Parfum. I did blind buy this, knowing that there was a pretty good chance I was gonna like it, because I am a huge fan of all of the Black Opiums. I really, really love that pear vanilla coffee accord with a little bit of jasmine and some floral notes, sometimes those chocolatey facets. I'm just a huge fan of the Black Opium perfumes in general. If you guys watch my channel, you know that. And currently all I have in my collection aside from this one is a travel size of the Illicit Green, just because I had actually had like 4 Black Opium versions. I had the Nuit Blanche, I had the original, I had Illicit Green, and at one point I also had the Neon, and at one point I think I also had the Eau de Toilette, and at one point I had the Intense, and I also had the Extreme. And it's just a little bit redundant. Like, I find that the Black Opium perfumes are so similar that you don't need all of them. If you want all of them, that's perfectly fine. But for myself personally, because I have a few more perfumes, I don't just have 1 or 2 perfumes, they would just never all get worn. So for me, I feel like I don't need every Black Opium that's out there. So I did pass on my full bottle of Illicit Green, knowing that I was going to be purchasing this one. So first I want to give you a bit of a close-up of the bottle. So the bottle, in comparison to all of the other ones, is like a patent black. Most of the other Black Opium bottles have sort of this like sparkly, grainy texture to them, and this one does not have that. It's just an all shiny matte bottle with a little bit of the reminiscence of the old bottle design in the middle. Otherwise, it looks exactly the same as all of the other Black Opium bottles, and then it's got the same cap. This is a 50 ml. So this perfume has notes of pear, cinnamon, green mandarin, solar notes, orange blossom, jasmine sambac, Madagascar vanilla, bourbon vanilla, vanilla absolute, patchouli, coffee, and vanilla orchid. So what really struck me about this perfume is that it has a lot more vanilla, 3 different types of vanilla compared to the other Black Opiums, and also that it had vanilla orchid in the base. And if you guys watch my channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of vanilla orchid. I know that orchid is a fantasy synthetic note, so it doesn't really exist, but it was created for the perfume world. But whenever there's orchid in a perfume, I absolutely, for some reason, seem to love those perfumes. This is my thoughts on this perfume. So for a Le Parfum concentration or a Le Parfum flanker, this is not as strong as I was expecting it to be. I do wish that it was a little bit stronger, a little bit longer lasting, a little bit further projecting. It's not a very big perfume. I actually have tested this out and worn it, and I did feel like I needed to spray a lot of this perfume to get the effect that I wanted. So that was my first impression, was that definitely a little bit lighter and softer and not as powerful as I was hoping that it would be, especially considering everything we've already seen from Black Opium. The extreme Black Opium, which was the chocolate and coffee centric one, that one had a lot more oomph to it. The intense one had a lot more oomph than this one. I even think the original Eau de Parfum probably had a little bit more power than this one. This is a very light, kind of an airy, creamy version of Black Opium. That being said, there are notes of solar notes in here. So if you guys haven't smelled solar notes, they're kind of hard to describe, but they're kind of like a light, airy, sunny, creamy accord that doesn't go in a coconut sunscreen direction. So it kind of reminds me of like a beach, very sunny, very summery, very like airy and kind of creamy in a sense, but without going into a coconut sunscreen direction. So it's kind of like that. So I feel like maybe this one was designed more for warm weather and lighter weather, maybe not so much like bold, cold winter, fall kind of weather. This is not what I would consider to be like a powerhouse for fall or winter or anything like that. I would wear this in the summertime, and I would even wear it in the daytime in the summertime without hesitation. In comparison to Illicit Green, which was a summertime version of Black Opium, that one had fig and green mandarin. That one was kind of summertime in the sense that it was green and figgy and just kind of had like this summertime vibe to it. This one is a little bit summery in the sense that it's a little softer than some of the Black Opiums, and it has those solar notes as well, which makes it feel a little bit airier and lighter and just more appropriate for spring and summer. For those of you who are wondering, I don't get any cinnamon in here. Cinnamon is a note that kind of scares me, and when I see cinnamon in a perfume, sometimes I'm a little bit nervous because I don't like a lot of cinnamon in perfumes, and I don't like super spicy perfumes. So I don't get much cinnamon in here, for those who are wondering. What I get a lot of is obviously the vanilla. This is primarily, first and foremost, a vanilla perfume. I would say that even if you don't like the other Black Opiums, you might really like this one because it's not as much of a sweet, sugary coffee. It's not so much of that like Starbucks Frappuccino vibe with some jasmine thrown into it. This is much more a vanilla perfume. It's very vanilla dominant. I have to say that I really, really like the way that this smells, you guys. And I think the reason I had such high expectations for it is because I've already owned and smelled pretty much all of the other Black Opiums. Well, I have smelled all of the other ones, and I've owned most of them. So because of that, I just had such high expectations for this perfume. I expected it to be bolder, stronger, better, bigger, longer lasting. I just had super high expectations, and I will say it fell short in that area. I was not blown away. I was not like thinking, oh yes, this is what we needed. This is the next best Black Opium. I didn't get that impression, and it definitely doesn't have the performance I was hoping it would have for being this far down the line. Like after we've created this many Black Opiums, you would think that they would get to a point where they were like, okay, now we're going to release our best yet. But instead, it's just yet another different type of Black Opium. I don't think it's worthy of the name Le Parfum. I don't know. Usually Le Parfum are stronger, deeper, richer, more intense, more captivating. This isn't really like that. It's just a lot more vanilla, which I don't mind. I really don't mind it, you guys. Does it smell like Black Opium? Yes, definitely. You can tell that it's a Black Opium. And if you were to line them all up in a row and have, you know, 5 different people walk past you, each wearing a Black Opium flanker, I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference between this one and lots of the other ones. They're all so similar, which is again why I don't think I need every Black Opium in my collection. So performance on this perfume, like I said, not super bold, not super strong, not quite what I was hoping for or expecting. I did find that even though I sprayed a lot of sprays, it did not have a huge projection and it didn't have the greatest longevity. I would say that even on my skin, you guys, I probably sprayed, because I could tell right off the hop after spraying it, I could tell that it was going to be a little bit lighter and softer. And so I did spray, I think, 2 on each arm and then like a couple all over my head area and then a few on the front of my shirt. And I didn't get a compliment, but I did ask my boyfriend, could you smell my perfume? And he said yes. And I said, what did you think of it? He said, I thought you smelled very nice. So I told him, I said, you have to tell me these things because otherwise I don't know if you can smell it. He did say that he could smell it and that it smelled really nice. And I could catch whiffs of this coming off of myself as I was walking around, but it wasn't like, not what I expected for this perfume, especially for spraying like probably 6 or 7 sprays. I also didn't find that this lasted a really long time. I would say that after about probably 4 hours, 3 hours, it was pretty soft, like a very soft skin scent, and it didn't last in my clothing for a long period of time either. In comparison, the Jo Malone Rose Water and Vanilla lasted in my shirt until the next day, and that was from 1 spray on my arm. It just is lacking a little bit in the performance area. It's not super strong, but I do really like the scent. And I will say that after I got back from my outing, my room smelled lovely. My room smelled beautiful, and it smelled very much like Black Opium, but more vanilla. So this is, like I said, a vanilla dominant perfume. If you like the original Black Opium, but maybe it was too sweet for you and too much coffee and too much like sugary vanilla frappuccino vibes and it just wasn't for you, or maybe you've never been a Black Opium person, I would say give this one a shot because in terms of the scent, you might really, really like it. I do love that it is a vanilla dominant scent. It's lovely. It's pretty, easy to wear, very beautiful. I just wish that the performance was just a little bit better with this one. That is what I would say. So for performance, I would give this one like maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10, maybe a 5. It's pretty neutral. It's not the worst I've ever had, but it's definitely not great in the performance area. In terms of the scent is beautiful. It's mass-pleasing, it's kind of creamy, it's a little coffee, it's a little bit floral, there's some sweetness in there, and then there's 3 different types of vanilla. Yeah, I mean, it's a Black Opium perfume, what can I say? It smells just like Black Opium, but it's just a little bit more like solar vanilla direction. I'm not mad at it, I'm keeping it, I don't plan to return it, I don't plan to pass it on at this point in time unless at some point in the future I think that there's a different Black Opium that I would like better, but I'm perfectly happy to have this one. And like I told you guys, I don't feel like I need 10 different Black Opiums or even 2 or 3 different Black Opiums. I just don't feel like I need that many because they're all so similar. And I'm perfectly happy with this one. And I actually really, really love that strong vanilla quality. There's so much vanilla in here. And it is just a really nice perfume. I think that when I wear it, I'm just going to have to make sure I have lots of lotion on so that it really lasts on my skin. This is also not a perfume that I would say would be great for like a night out clubbing or going to a large party or something, or a large gathering where there's a lot of people and you want to stand out. It's not that kind of perfume. This is more of like a sensual, closer, you know, getting closer to somebody, closer to the skin sort of perfume where you sort of have to be almost within arm's reach. That being said, I've only worn this out in public once. I will continue to wear it and let you guys know if I get any compliments or anything like that, or if people notice it on me. But I'll be honest, I have Bath & Body Works perfumes and Victoria's Secret that are louder than this one. So unfortunately for the price, the performance is just not great. I do wish it was better, but I really, really like the scent. So yeah, those are my thoughts on those 2 perfumes, you guys. And it's really interesting because actually in this case, the Jo Malone one has better performance than the Black Opium, I would say. Because like I said, for the Jo Malone, I only sprayed like 1 or 2 small sprays on my arm. And I felt that it had, you know, pretty good longevity, and I could smell it when I walked outside the house. And had I sprayed like 6 or 7 sprays with that one, the way that I did with Black Opium, I think this one would have been kind of, you know, almost a powerhouse in a sense, at least for a few hours. And it did have great longevity. Like this one lasted until I washed it off. The Black Opium, I felt like I really had to put my nose to my skin to smell it. Kind of funny, you wouldn't expect a Jo Malone to outperform a YSL. So yeah, those are the two perfumes for today's review. This was part of my big haul that I will be doing. I will do a collective haul. In a couple of weeks, I'll probably mention the Jo Malone, but this one's not going to be staying, you guys, because I'm either going to return it or I'm going to pass it on to somebody who I think would like it. I just know that it is not going to work for me, but I'm quite happy with the Black Opium. I think that that one's going to be just a really nice, easy, soft, comfortable, like cool weather, even into the warmer weather, closer to the skin. And what I like about this one, I do have to say that what I like about the Black Opium, my boyfriend was never a fan of the Black Opiums, but he did say he liked the way this one smelled. I think because all of the other Black Opiums are very like clubby, they're just kind of like very recognizable, and they're very sweet and very clubby. This one has like a sensuality to it that the others don't, if you know what I mean. I think this is a really nice like Netflix and chill kind of scent, you know what I mean? Whereas the other Black Opiums are a little bit more like loud, you know, going out clubby kind of thing. It just gives like a different vibe. It's more of that soft, cozy feeling in a sense. So that is my impression of these two perfumes. If you guys have tried either of these, definitely let me know your thoughts. I'm curious to know. I only saw one other thumbnail pop up for the Black Opium, and it did not look to be an impressed review. The person didn't look to be very impressed. So I kind of get the impression that people feel the same as me in terms of where's the performance. And for a Le Parfum, why didn't you give us something just a little bit stronger, you know? But that's my interpretation of those perfumes. Let me know what you guys think, and thank you so much for watching. So that was it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on these perfumes, and I'm looking forward to reading all of your comments down below. If you have tried any of these, again, let me know. Did you like either of them, and are there any other perfumes that you would like me to touch on my channel? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.